We're now going to be using appendChild to actually put new elements into our DOM application. So let's get started. The prerequisites for this video is that you should be already familiar with using JavaScript to select DOM elements. And the objective for this video is that after you watch this video, you should be able to use appendChild to append new elements to an HTML file. So you should be able to use appendChild to append any child to any appropriate DOM element. So for example, if you have a UL, you should be able to append an LI. If you have a div, you should be able to append another div. Your document, the body of the document should be able to append a div and so on. So let's see what this is and how this works. Up to this point, every div and every element that's in our document, we've put there. So for example, we typed in our HTML document, we typed div ID equals title. We put the div there. Then we put this other div here. And then we used the DOM manipulation inside of JavaScript to modify what that element has. So for example, the restaurant name here, we did query selectors to select the restaurant name. And then after that, then we changed the inner HTML to Paco. And the same thing we did with the description, we changed the inner HTML. So far we've been grabbing the name of the DOM element, and then we've been using JavaScript to change the contents of that DOM element. But now what we need to do is we need to actually create a new DOM element that never existed before. And we can use JavaScript to do that as well. So what we are going to do is in this document here, we're going to actually create a new element. So for example, here we have body equals document.querySelectorBody. So we've already selected the body. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a new element out of thin air. So we're going to do var new div equals document.createElement div. This will create a new div. And then we've created a div, but it doesn't live anywhere. It's not attached to the document yet. If we go here and then we refresh, we don't see anything there. It's living inside of memory of JavaScript, but it has not been attached to the HTML file yet. So what we need to do is we can say new div dot inner HTML. We'll give it something to say, like here is some new food. And then now we're going to use appendChild to append it to the body. So we can say body.appendChild new div. And we save it and then we run it here and then we say, here is some new food. And if you notice, I have here under I used inspect element to inspect the element. So to inspect the HTML file. So if I just do inspect, then that's how you can see this. And you see it's just attached right here. It was added in. It does not live in our HTML. The HTML file has not been changed. We only use JavaScript to insert new things in here. So we could even use a for loop if we wanted to. We could say for var I equals 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. And then every time we could do this same stuff inside of there. So every time we loop, we create a new element div, we put the inner HTML. We could say here is food item number plus I, and then append that to the new div. I mean, append that to the body on every loop. So when we run this here, here's food item number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9. And again, none of those elements live inside of the HTML file. It was all created dynamically through JavaScript. So what are the things that we can do? We can create, one of our objectives is to use an unordered list, right? So we could say var ul equals document dot create element ul, and we could say var li equals document dot create element li, li dot inner HTML equals hello there. You know what? We could actually put all of this stuff inside of this loop here. Hello there, number I, and then body dot appendChild ul. Actually, we'll create the ul before the loop, and then when we loop, we'll add a new li every time, because ul, you only need one ul, but you need many list items, right? If you had, what it's going to look like is this: if you had ul and then you had a li times 10, right? You have something that looks like this. So we're creating this, but we're going to do it dynamically, not hard-coded in the HTML. We're doing it here. So then body dot appendChild ul, and then body, this one goes up here. Create the ul, and then here body dot, the ul dot appendChild. So let's just talk about what we just did. We said that we wanted to create an element called ul. We created it. It lives in memory. It's not in our DOM yet. Then we append that child to the body of our HTML document. And this body we got up here on line 6. So we have the ul, unordered list. It's waiting for things to be part of the list. Then we loop through 10 times from 0 to 9, starting with 0, ending at 9. Creating list items, we create the element, we set the inner HTML, and then we append it to the ul. So we save here, and then we get a similar result, but then here we've got an unordered list with all the LIs. Okay? You can append things to divs, right? So you could do the same thing. You can do like inside of this title, we could append something to that. So the title is called restaurant name. So we could say var newest div equals document dot create element div, and then we can say newest div dot inner HTML equals ABC, and then we want our restaurant name dot append child newest div. And we save that. This restaurant name here, that's where Paco, this part is. So when we refresh it, we have ABC. So this is another div that's been appended to this main div. So if you look at Paco, the title here, this div right here, ABC, has been appended to this div. This is the main div. This div has been appended. So you can use JavaScript to append children to a document. Is very, very powerful. And it's something that actually happens quite a lot in dynamic web applications that depend on dynamic data, user input, events. All of these things are changing the content of what you see on the page. Web pages are not static anymore. A long time ago, they were static. You looked at a web page, it was almost like a business card. It didn't change much. Now, almost every website, there's content changing on there all the time based on your input, based on your actions. So that is how you do this with JavaScript.